Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. My name is Tony Fisher, and I am very proud to serve this congregation as its minister. And I'm very grateful that you're here with us this morning on this Sunday in between Christmas and New Year, in between pre-vaccine, post-vaccine, in between. We welcome you here. We're very grateful for those who are with us here in the sanctuary this morning. Daniel Goodsit, our AV tech, John Forsyth, our chair of technology. We have our worship associate, Joanne Swank, and another worship associate, Lena Neal, and another worship associate joining us virtually, or at least recorded, Ed Ostrom. And we're very, very happy to have our guest musicians this morning, Nathaniel and Caroline Cornell, both who grew up in this congregation, and both of whom are very wonderful violinists. Nathaniel is in Michigan, applying his trade with the Ann Arbor Symphony, and Caroline is in her first year at Oberlin as a violin performance student. So we welcome them. We're very excited that they're here. You've already heard them if you've been listening to the opening music as we lead up to the service. And welcome to you. And I'll turn it over to Joanne for the rest of the welcome.
Good morning, and welcome again to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. My name is Joanne Swank, and I am your worship associate for this morning. If there is anyone online with us live this morning who has joined our community since the beginning of the pandemic, thank you for being here, and feel free to say hello in the live chat, which you can find on your YouTube page. Otherwise, we hope you might email our administrator at office@uunaples.org so that we can include you in our regular news blasts, which relate all of the excellent things that are going on here at UUCGN. Either way, you are welcome here, and we would love to get to know you and would love you to get to know us. You'll find that this is a place where we are all encouraged to grow spiritually in fellowship with others through worship and online opportunities that offer education, reflection, and discussion. We try to do all of this in the spirit of love and acceptance, reaching out with our hearts, offering mutual support, and in these times of separation. Please do take a peek at the email notices that are being sent out each week that offer you links to learning and fellowship opportunities, or visit us on the website at www.naples.org. There's also our virtual coffee hour page on Facebook that's available for you to connect to others 24/7. The words to our opening hymn, Morning Has Come, are in this morning's Sunday News Blast, if you wish to sing along. And now, let's center our hearts and minds as Nathaniel and Carolyn play this morning's prelude.
We light this chalice as the earth finishes yet another turn around the sun. Hardly aware of the physical distance we have traveled, we are nonetheless exhausted by the journey of our days, more than ready to let go of what has been, and we are all open and hopeful for what may become. Come into this time of peace, this time of sharing, of reflection, and of joy, as we prepare to ring in the new year and move forward with intention.
Again did the earth shift, again did the nights grow short, and the days long. And the people of the earth were glad and celebrated, each in their own ways. Let's join in singing our opening hymn. Morning has come. The words are in the Sunday News this morning. This version is presented by the UU congregation of Shelter Rock on Long Island. Absolutely one of my favorite hymns. The act of celebrating the new year is almost universal throughout human history and across cultures. From the ancient Babylonians and Mayans, from Polynesia to Scandinavia, the fact that it's celebrated in different ways in various times of the year make it a rich subject for study. Did you know, for instance, that part of the Babylonian New Year ritual of Akitu, which took place upon the arrival of the spring rains, involved the ritual humiliation of the king? According to one source, all of the king's powers are removed, and he is slapped in the face by a priest who tells him he has to go away and practice forgiveness and forgiving his own sins and the sins of others. 3 days later, he is restored and absolved. His royal insignia is handed back, and ceremonies are performed to ensure that nature will support his leadership in the coming year. Maybe this is a custom that we could revive. Anyway, the Mayan acknowledgement of the new year comes a month after the summer solstice. In the South Pacific, The celebration coincides with the reappearance of the Pleiades, the constellation Pleiades, which happens about this time of the harvest season. In the Northern Hemisphere, we all know that New Year traditions sort of center around the solstice, the darkest time of the year, and in that time we call forth the sun to reassert itself so that the new life cycle of the earth can begin again. Today we'll share some traditions from 3 cultures around the world, and we'll also hear how some of our members respond to the question of what they will be happy to leave behind and what they are looking forward to in the coming year. And there will be time for you to pause and reflect together about your answers to these questions. Our first short reflection this morning comes from one of my favorite people in the congregation, someone I see most Sundays in our religious exploration chapel, Brent Lee Moore.
I know everybody has had a hard year this year. Me too. And the thing I look forward to next year is people getting a vaccine for COVID. And I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa. Hope you all stay safe and Happy New Year.
Let's join together in singing our centering hymn, Spirit of Life, this performed by the UU congregation of San Mateo, California. We enter our time of sharing. Again, a time I miss you all more than any other. Word has come that James Ward, a longtime friend of the congregation, fell this past week and broke his hip and has been in Physicians Regional recovering. So our thoughts go out to James. He can't be visited right now, but we'll keep you informed about where he will wind up, and hopefully cards and notes will be appreciated. As always, we take this time to honor the people who are working tirelessly on the front lines of healthcare, knowing that the pandemic rages ever more, even as we wait, hopefully, for the vaccine to be distributed, to be administered, and to take hold. We know we have a long winter ahead of us, and know that those who are taking care, who are being close to those who are ill, taking care of them, family members are all struggling at this time. So our thoughts go out to them, and of course to the families who have lost loved ones during this time, knowing their heartache as the year ends and as they look back. If you have a joy or a sorrow that you would like to share with the congregation, please send me an email at minister@uunaples.org, and I can include it in the weekly Caring Corner that goes out early in the week. A joy or a sorrow, either would be welcome. And if you'd like something spoken on Sunday morning, please send me an email before Saturday, and I can include it in the spoken joys and sorrows Sunday morning. I invite you now into a time of guided meditation, an extended time when I'm hoping that you will sit in stillness and look backward and look forward as we come to the end of this troubled year. No matter what time of year it is celebrated, no matter what other traditions might be observed, the new year has been a time to consider the past annual cycle in all its darkness and light. It's a time to look ahead and envision how the future might look. This is a good time to kindle a flame to guide our way. In northern climates, January and February are considered hibernation or dream days, a time of year where we can step out of our busy lives and look inward in reflection. There is power in our waking dreams. We can make choices about what we want to bring forward and what we want to leave behind. Now let's take a moment to be still and think about our lives. I'll be inviting you to think about some things you may want to release, and also create a space for you to invite something into your life during the coming year, something positive. If you prefer just to sit in stillness during this time, of course, you are welcome to do that. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Notice your breath, how your body is always inviting and letting go. Inviting in life and letting go of what's no longer needed. Cast your mind's eye back over the past year. Gently allow yourself to remember some of the hard times, times of loss, of isolation, of disappointment, of sadness, of pain. Did this year bring the death of a friend or a family member or even a pet? Have you had other losses, hopes or dreams that you've had to let go? Were there times of anger because of pain caused by another? or perhaps times when you felt disappointed in yourself because you wished you'd done or said something differently. As you remember these things, know that there are parts of these experiences that might yet bring inspiration and healing. There are also parts that are the muck, so to speak, the toxic and heavy weights that can drag on us, making it hard to be at peace or to move forward. Take a moment now and separate out those burdensome parts. What are the words or images that come to mind that represent the muck, the pieces which we no longer find useful? Imagine placing those words and images onto a piece of paper or a dried leaf, like a cypress frond that are all about us these days as the cypress have lost their leaves, have shed what they don't need. Now imagine handing this leaf to a crow perhaps, and watch the crow fly and release the burden into a flame and have it flare up, releasing your burdens, inviting forgiveness and peace. And now let us look forward to the coming year and some dreaming forward. Lee Lanning and Vernette Hart share this beautiful thought. We take time to dream, to envision the world that we want. We know a dream of things to come, taken seriously, will bring those things about. And so now we are invited to take a few minutes to dream and meditate about the coming year. And as we dream, try to ignore the voices telling you what you should do. Focus instead on positive directions that help bring joy and peace to your life and the world around you. Focus on small changes. First, on your daily rounds, whatever it is you do, wherever you go. Are there changes you'd like to make? Are there areas that need a little more care? Second, think about yourself personally. Are you taking care of your own health and well-being? Or are there changes in this area that would be helpful? Do you want to give more attention to a positive personality trait? Is there a talent you would like to spend some time developing? Practice forgiveness of yourself. Third, consider those in the world around you. How can you stay aware of the needs of others? What do you already do to help those in need? And finally, breathe deeply and connect to your spirituality. Do you feel that you take the time and space for your own spiritual practice? What would help you stay connected to yourself and the world around you? And as you think on these things, place your hand on your chest and think about what you're dreaming forward. Imagine the images you've created about work, about yourself, about how you are in the larger world, and about your core spirituality. Later, when you want to remember your dreaming for this year, place your hand back on your chest, and your body will help you remember. And let us end our dreaming forward meditation with this prayer. Spirit of life, Spirit of the universe, Spirit of the unknown, a new year is upon us. An unknown path awaits our footsteps. We ask for guidance to make the coming year fruitful, healthy, clear-sighted, and gentle in our hearts.
Yule. The Scandinavian New Year's tradition are closely connected with the old winter festivals of the Scandinavian Norsemen. The Yuletide season centered around the solstice and continued throughout the new year. Yuletide was celebrated at this time to herald the return of the sun. To the Norse people, the return of light and the lengthening days meant crops growing, animals emerging from hibernation, and people surviving. To celebrate these gifts of the coming season, there would be a feast, savory foods such as mutton or leg of lamb, goose, pork, and beef, especially Yule breads, porridge, apples, sweets, and nuts were traditional parts of the Yule feast. But most important was the Yule ale. Brewed stronger than most ales and considered holy. Many people would be invited to the feast, and it would last many days. During this time, it was also traditional to keep bonfires blazing. This ancient practice was adopted to the English custom of burning the Yule log. The Norsemen and Vikings believed that the sun was a spinning wheel of fire, known as Yule, that retreated from the earth during the winter. During the darkest days, the Norsemen kept a Yule log burning all day and night. When spring finally arrived, a piece of the log was reserved to light the new log of the next winter. The rekindled log symbolized the continuity of life for at least another year. Burning the Yule log was a way of encouraging the sun as it returned to its place higher in the sky over the next several months. Yuletide, from the Old Norse name Juletid, meaning the turning of the sun, was celebrated at a time of renewal of life and light. Feasting and burning bonfires supported the ancient fear that the light would never return unless humans intervened. With these celebrations, the Norse people brought light and flame into this season of darkness. Light means life, and without it, there would be none. The return of light means there is always hope.
Hi, Missy Cowan here. I think most of all, I'm looking forward to letting go of feeling anxious every day. Between fear of the virus and worrying about what's the next crazy thing our government administration will do to further degrade the environment, our democracy, and our standing in the world, and encourage division and violence, I just feel like what a relief it'll be to have a new administration that governs based on science and facts. I'm really looking forward to traveling freely again, spending time with family and friends, and I can't wait to go to a nail salon again for a professional mani-pedi. And then there's the hope of returning to the theater, dining out, or really just going anywhere inside. We've been having groceries delivered to our house since April in order to reduce our exposure to germs. I never thought I would actually say this out loud, that I kind of miss going to the grocery and just leisurely wandering up and down the aisles. And I especially miss seeing everyone at church on Sundays.
Now is the time for us to express our gratitude for this community, its work, its vision, and all of the ways in which it nourishes our lives, from its welcoming doors and sheltering wall to its good and generous people. Every once in a while, I've been asked what a Unitarian Universalist believes. I must admit to initially being stumped. Oh, not because we don't believe, but because we believe so much. We believe in freedom of religion, of tolerance of religious ideas, in the authority of reason and conscience, the never-ending search for truth, in the worth and dignity of every human being. Additionally, I believe in the importance of this place, in Naples, this place of beauty, this building, our gardens, and most of all, its people. It's good here. But to maintain and grow requires the greenery of foliage and of money. And with that latter thought in mind, the morning's offering will be gratefully received. And you can find our address on the screen if you want to send a check, or you can donate on our website at www.uunaples.org.
Hi, a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year to all of you. What I'm looking forward to in 2021, I'm hoping for a return to reason in government, a chance to travel, to see my family in person, and to travel, period. A successful vaccination program, returning to church so we can see and hug all of our friends there, and no more Zoom meetings.
At about 1400 BC, there lived a young man by the name of Zarathustra. As a young boy, Zarathustra was interested in nature and the mysteries held therein, and was curious as to how the world was created. After many years of meditation, his search brought him into communion with God and his enlightenment. When this young man became 30 years old, he introduced his revelations to the world, and thus the Zoroastrian religion was born. Zoroastrians are monotheistic, and their god is Ahura Mazda. The name Ahura Mazda is a curious name in that it incorporates the masculine name Ahura, meaning life, and paired with the feminine name Mazda, wisdom. This follows the basic tenet of this religion in that males and females are equal in the eyes of the Creator, and emphasizes that the deity is beyond one particular gender distinction. Every year, on the 21st of March, the Zoroastrians, also known as Parsis, who live in India, observe their new year. This new year is called Navraj, literally meaning new day in the language of the Parsis. In this new year, the Parsis are reminded of their path of Asha, the path of action, which is manifested by Humata, good thoughts, Hukta, good words, and Havrashta, good deeds, with an emphasis on service to the suffering of humanity. This new day is the beginning of a new year, a new awakening into at the time of questioning, of looking within oneself, and of seeing the millions of miracles that take place within the vast universe. Navraj, along with its meaning of new day, also means springtime to the Parsis, when Mother Nature casts off everything that is old and superfluous, dresses herself like a young bride in very vibrant colors and hue, and rejoices in her own spiritual beauty. Thus, Navraj is the new dawn in every Parsi's life. To celebrate this new awakening, the men, women, and children wake up early, bathe and dress in new clothing. The threshold and steps to their houses are decorated with colored powders, and the family will light incense sticks and sprinkle sandalwood powder on live coals kept in a censer. This is a means to purify the air and their home. After breakfast, the household goes to the nearest fire temple, or agiari to the Parsis. They're a jashan, or prayer of thanks, performed by the priest of the temple, and each participant offers sandalwood to the holy fire. After this ceremony, all people greet each other by saying, Sa Mubarak. As part of Navraj, in light of their path of Asha, food packets and clothes are given to the poor Parsi families by the children of another family. In this way, Parsi children are taught to give and share with others, to extend a helping hand to the poor as a special characteristic of the Zoroastrian Parsis. Many of the rituals, prayers, greetings, exchanging of gifts, decorating and beautifying of the house are common to all the Indian festivals. But what marks the Zoroastrian religion from the rest of the other Indian religions is that the Parsi festivals allow for the free mixing of men and women in a sign of equality. On occasions of these Parsi festivals, people from all classes come together, ignoring social differences, to rejoice wholeheartedly and celebrate the new year in friendship, harmony, and happiness. In closing, I leave with you this Zoroastrian prayer to Ahura Mazda, and may our new year at the church be one of generosity and giving, and of offering up our own gifts to the community. Let us follow the path of Asha as in the spirit of our Parsi brothers and sisters, in good thoughts, good words, and lastly, in giving deeds. With bended knees, with hands outstretched, do I yearn for the effective expression of the Spirit working within me. For this love and understanding, truth and justice, for the wisdom to know the apparent from the real, that I may alleviate the sufferings of men and women on earth. God is love, understanding, wisdom, and virtue. Let us love one another. Let us practice mercy and forgiveness. Let us have peace born of fellow feeling. Let my joy be of altruistic living, of doing good to others. Happiness is unto him from whom happiness proceeds, to any other human being.
I'm Ellen Hemrick. In this season of expectation and preparing, I am preparing to return to my job in person and be able to work with my kids at school on social relatedness in a way where we can all read each other's body language and see each other's whole faces. I'm expecting to spend a lot more time with Marianne Dwyer, who's living at the Arlington now, and I can't get in to see her right now. And I'm also expecting to work in a newly invigorated way on social justice with all my friends out in the world in a very physical way. Hopefully we can all eat together again soon and work together soon.
Since ancient times, households across Scotland have welcomed strangers through their doors with the aim of bringing good fortune for the year ahead. But on New Year's Eve, this hospitality is practiced with a warmth and cheer that makes the holiday special. Singing Auld Lang Syne and toasting the bells with whiskey are two Scottish New Year traditions that have spread across the world. But the term Hogmanay and the custom of first footing are not so well known. The origins of Hogmanay are unclear, though it may be derived from Norse and Gaelic observances. Customs vary throughout Scotland. and most often include gift giving and visiting the homes of friends, and neighbors with special attention given to the first foot. That's the first guest of the new year. Visitors will bring a coin, some bread, salt, a lump of coal, and whiskey, gifts representing prosperity, food, flavor, warmth, and good cheer, all the things the new year will hopefully bring. First footing, which stems from the Gaelic practice of Qualtag, is still practiced today, and while some individuals can bring good luck for the upcoming 12 months, others can be seen as a harbinger of ill fate. Traditionally, the first footer should be someone who was not already in the house when the midnight struck. Hence, the Scottish party tradition of having one guest leave just before the bells ring so they can knock on the door as the new year begins. And tradition has it that a dark-haired man brings the best possible luck as a first footer and would be greeted warmly with food and drink, unless, of course, he arrives empty-handed. On the other hand, a light-haired man or a red-haired woman, even if their arms are laden with all the traditional first-footing tokens, might not be so well welcomed, as they might bring bad luck for the year ahead. Now, having a doctor or minister appear at the door as a first footer is also bad luck, presumably due to their association with illness and death. Once the first footer arrives, homeowners would pile on the goodies and entertainment for their guests. While first footing is predominantly a Scottish Hogmanay tradition, it is also practiced in the north of England and in Ireland. A similar tradition also exists in Sweden, where inviting a stranger into your house after midnight is said to bring good luck for the new year. Though the Swedish ritual observes the opposite follicular prejudice, it is only considered lucky to invite in a light-haired visitor as your first footer. And in Greece, a similar tradition is called Potariko, which carries a similar theory that the first person to cross the threshold will influence the fortunes of the household for the entire year. So, be careful who it is you allow over your threshold in the new year. Even without the pandemic, one can never be too careful.
Thank you, Lena. During this time each week, if we're doing our job here, we're given the opportunity to pause and reflect, listening, considering, reconnecting, at least digitally, with one another, with people with whom we're sharing this journey, this spiritual journey. I was even thinking during Joys and Sorrows earlier about not being able to do those in person. This is a real loss for me, and I know for many of you. There's so much packed into those few minutes, so much involved beyond the individual experiences and the sharing. There is the courage and the trust that is shown when anybody stands and shares with their deepest sorrow or a great joy. And beyond those personal feelings, there is the willingness of the congregation to accept, to be there, to be present, to share in the good news or the bad with open arms. Approaching the new year can be a bit like approaching joys and sorrows, only on a grander scale. At this time of year, we have the opportunity to open our hearts not only to each other, but to ourselves. Earlier this year in September, we spoke again about the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, and of Yom Kippur, the time offered to the Jewish people in their calendar to stop and consider their actions over the past year and give them a chance to atone before the new year begins. And while celebrations on the evening of December 31st around the globe tend to be lighthearted and joyful, we might take note of this time once again as an opportunity to let go of the chaff and the muck and to focus with intention on our futures, with positive thoughts and with attitudes that align. I know from personal experience that even in this season of light, the light can be covered and dimmed by layers of busyness and self-doubt, of anger and depression, of hopelessness. But the light is still there. And now is the time to unwrap all those layers, to forgive, to believe, to hope, to rekindle the flame and hold it forth for the coming year. Remember where your thoughts went during this morning's meditation, and keep those feelings and ideas alive with the warmth of your inner flame. We'll close today with these words from Kathleen McTeague. The 1st of January is another day dawning. The sun rising as the sun always rises. The earth moving in its rhythms with or without our calendars. To name a certain day as the day of new beginnings, separating the old from the new. So it is. Everything is the same, bound into its history as we ourselves are bound. Yet we also stand at a threshold. The new year is something truly new, still unformed, leaving a stunning power in our hands. What shall we do with this great gift of time this year? Let us begin by remembering whatever justice, whatever peace and wholeness might bloom in our world this year, we are the hearts and minds, the hands and feet, the embodiment of all the best visions of ourselves and of our people. The new year can be a ground for the seeds of our dreams, and so let us take a step forward together onto new ground, planting our seeds and spreading our light well, faithfully, and in joy. And for this week and beyond into the new year, may you walk in peace, love, and joy. Happy New Year, everyone.